Cook again from the Litchfield Park Museum. If you'll remember, I'm the archivist here, and I have another document that I thought you might be interested in seeing. I want to talk about the relationship between Paul Litchfield and the Wright brothers. Paul Litchfield was alive at the time when aviation was taking hold, and if you'll all remember from history, the Wright brothers discovered a way of producing a power-driven plane. They were the inventors of that. These are two pictures. These are copies. They're not originals. The one on your left is of Paul Litchfield in the early 1900s, and Orville Wright is on your right. What happened was Orville Wright would test the airplane that he and his brother invented. They would fly it around a field and circle around that field while there were people watching below. And one of those days that he was doing that, there was trouble with the plane. He had a passenger with him, and the plane crashed. And at that point, the passenger was in critical condition, as was Orville Wright. Orville Wright broke his leg, his hip, and a couple of ribs. And the passenger in the plane eventually died a couple days later and was the first aviation fatality for power-driven planes in our history. Well, because of that accident and because the medical profession wasn't as proficient as in repairing legs and bones and hips as they are today, Orville Wright was in a great deal of pain. So he liked to read in the evening, and when he would sit in the evening, he was extremely uncomfortable. So Paul Litchfield had a couple of cushions made for him out of foam rubber that he thought would help his friend sitting in the evening and being more comfortable. So if you'll remember, last time when we talked, we put on white gloves when we're going to deal with archival material. So I'm going to put on my white cotton gloves, and we're going to take a look at an original document. This particular document is a letter, and it was written by Orville Wright to his friend Paul Litchfield, thanking him for those rubber cushions. This letter is one of ours. We own this. It's part of our collection here. You'll see that this letter is quite old. It goes back to 1944, and you'll see Orville Wright's signature at the bottom. And you can see this letter at the museum. If you come up here, you can just ask one of our docents to point it out for you. Anyway, it's a thank you letter to Paul Litchfield for the cushions. The interesting thing about the letter is he said he realized he could not pay Paul Litchfield for those cushions, that they were indeed a gift to him. So as a thank you, he included with this letter a couple pieces of the Kitty Hawk. Unfortunately, those pieces of the Kitty Hawk went to an aviation museum. It was before we formed as a museum, so the only thing we have from the Litchfield collection is the letter.